Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is the Upper Tier Podcast, the football and pro wrestling podcast that we bring you each and every week. Darren's a little bit delayed. I don't know what's going on. I haven't heard from him, but he'll probably join us shortly, hopefully. But yeah, we've got plenty to go through tonight. It won't be a long show, that's for sure, because I'm actually dying with the flu at the moment. You can probably hear it in my voice. I'm dosed up on. I have that good Paddy Vieira Vicks here on the jersey. I've got the Jurgen Klopp water bottle here out of solidarity for what happened this week with Cute. I got my water, I got my cough bottle, I got all that kind of stuff. So I'm armed and good to go. Just to let you know, folks, in the chat, Acers is in there as well. Saturday night's main event, January 25th, a week before the Rumble. Is that a week before the Rumble? I'm not too sure. I thought the Rumble was later, but however, spot on. Can't wait for the UFC 309. Yeah, John Jones versus Stipe Miocic, Chandler versus Oliveira too. It's going to be class. What's cracking? Good to see you. No technical difficulties. I was just waiting on Darren. He got delayed, so I'm sure he'll pop on when he's ready. Just to let you know, folks, I've if you could, of course, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button, and of course, drop a like on the video. Hit the like, the most important thing out there to do. This man, as you know, Dutch Mantel, you've heard over the last week or so, he's in ill health at the moment. Him and his wife Kathy were both brought into hospital. I think the guy who does the podcast, I can't remember his name, thought that it was something like sepsis or something like that, so it's fairly serious. So there's a GoFundMe there to support their health costs. So if you could spare a few dollars, if possible, it would be well appreciated. I think the fund at the moment is at about 103,000. But as you know, medical care in the US is a crazy cost, absolutely mental. And I think the issue with this one, I think they were saying, was because Dutch has gone into hospital a couple of times this year or something like that. I think he's used up whatever the allowance is or something like that. So any support you can give him, the GoFundMe is there, tagged at the top of the chat, or that's it there on the screen. If you can spare a few dollars, it'd be well appreciated. You know yourself, we always pull together during these times. The wrestling community is fabulous, and especially you guys on here. Baz is in as well. Evening, bro. Hope you are keeping well. I'm not too bad. I got your message earlier, Baz. Thanks for that. I was out cold, but appreciate a pal checking in and all. Acers, Dave Meltzer, interesting comments about this fundraising campaign. Yeah, well, we're not even going to get into them. We don't, if people want to carry on like that, it's just ridiculous, but that's the way it is. So if you can support, if you can afford to help them out, if not, no big deal. Whatever you can do. Everyone's circumstances are different. Right, let's get in. What we're going to do is we'll start with a Raw recap. We're also going to be talking about, of course, Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. We have to talk about that, folks. This has gone crazy. We'll talk about Survivor Series and where it's at the moment and what the kind of matches are coming up and all that kind of stuff as we head towards it. And then we'll have a little bit of history in there as well. We'll also talk about the Survivor Series poster has been released. We'll talk about one John Cena visiting Cody Rhodes' wrestling school. And then on November the 12th, we have a very special moment that happened 6 years ago. And we'll go through that as well. Eno's in, love his podcast, Story Time with Dutch Mantel. Yeah, it's a great podcast, and he goes in depth, and you find with him, he's kind of wholesome about it. There's no agenda with him and stuff like that, and he kind of doesn't give a toss. He just says what he means, which is kind of nice as well. But you can see over the last year or so, he hasn't looked the healthiest either at times on it and stuff like that. And look, Father Time catches up on everyone, but we hope he makes a full recovery, and his wife, Kathy, of course. And the GoFundMe was set up by his daughter as well. So if you can support it, we would really appreciate it. Love the podcast and all, right? Right, let's get into this and talk Raw recap. Let's go through this. And we had Gunther and Damian Priest segment, which was interesting enough, laid out then for the match between himself and Kaiser later on, which he won, which was not unexpected. But that's the way it goes when you're building up to that. Not too sure how I feel about them rolling back Damian Priest versus Gunther. At Survivor Series feels kind of weird. He was supposed to be on, so I haven't heard from him. So I don't know. He's obviously got caught up or something. He might join us in a bit. So I don't know where he is at the moment. But we have to push on, Daz. We have to push on. I'm dying here with the flu, so I can't stay on here all night. Next up, then we had Damage Control winning against Pure Fusion Collective in the 6-woman tag team match. Not much to dwell on that. Kofi Kingston with Xavier Woods. Pete Dunne picking up the win, and you can see the image there of Xavier just basically turned his back on things, really. How are you feeling about this New Day prolonged breakup and the way it's going? What are you feeling about it? Are you into it? Is it garnishing an interest? I feel, if possible, Biggie should be involved somewhere in this and stuff like that. I think if it's just the two boys, it doesn't really interest me at all. Acers is giving us an update in the match. It's a penalty to Finland, according to Acers. We were winning 1-0. A lovely goal by Evan Ferguson at the back stick. Mikey Johnson with the ball in, bit of lovely footwork. England are 1-0 up as well. Madueke with the assist for Ollie Watkins. And Costas, I believe, was hooked there in the second half as well. I'm not sure if anyone's watching it. Let me know if Costas, was it an injury or was it just tactical? If you could let me know as well. Obviously, we want to check on all our boys, all our Liverpool players and stuff like that as well. But there you go. So then what did we have? Damian Priest, obviously, versus Ludwig. Again, decent match. Priest kind of building up a bit of a repertoire and stuff like that and all, you know. The significant match, I think, on Raw, these Raws, I don't know how you feel about the 2-hour ones. They're kind of going a bit shit, aren't they? Let's be honest here, you know. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill defending against Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez with Dominic Mysterio for the women's tag team championships. This kind of felt like a match where a lot of people got involved. There was a melee after it and stuff like that, and it kind of led to it looks like it's going to be the bones of a women's Survivor Series War Games match. That's what we're looking at. I think is going to come out of this. Liv kind of alluded to it as well in some of the interviews and stuff like that. So what are we going to get here? Rhea Ripley seems to be back. She has the mask on, a la Taker. So she's back protecting the orbital bone and stuff like that. So are we going to get a Survivor Series War Games match for the women? Looks likely at the moment. What have you made about who are the two people that are going to be joining the Bloodline as well? You've seen the segment with Seth, with Solo, kind of blown both parties off, but then obviously the Bronson Reed stuff and stuff like that is going to maybe change that narrative going into next week. Penalty was saved. Of course it was saved. It's Queeveen Kelleher, Acers. You should know better. He is the man. Queeveen Clean Sheet Kelleher. That's how we call him. Big up, Kenny. Good to see you, my friend. Hope the weekend went well for you and you sold loads. Seeing some of the artwork on your stall down there. I messaged you the other day and all good luck with it, and all looked really, really good. New Day story angle. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Not going to that show on Saturday, going football. It's a nice alternative, that's. It's a nice alternative. The only thing I would say is the weather's gotten a little bit cold, hence I have this goddamn flu. But that's neither here nor there. So my preference would be to be sitting in somewhere nice and cozy watching a wrestling show as opposed to football. But enjoy it, that's. Seth Rollins is on Team Roman Reigns. How do you think it's going to go, Acers? What way is it going? Bronson Reed is on Solo, yeah. What way do you think it's going to go? And we're hearing, obviously, the rumors on some spoilers have come out and stuff like that from the tape Raw, as they always do. How are we feeling about this? What way do we see it going down? Is CM Punk going to be involved in this in any way? We know he's going to be at Survivor Series. We know that they're probably looking to run him and Seth Rollins all the way to Mania. So will he get involved somehow? Could he get involved in the War Games match? Something to do with Rollins or something like that to kick it off. Let's see what happens. But I tell you, if it's Seth on one side and Bronson on the other side, I tell you, I wouldn't trust Seth Rollins either. Just history would tell you not to be trusting a guy like Seth Rollins. But it was very interesting the way they left Raw with that kind of hanging, and the fact that I have to say props to Triple H as well that he's taping some of these shows now, so talent are getting a bit of time off for Thanksgiving and stuff like that. probably the first time in the history of the company. So really, 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 really good. I think that's a great move. I know, okay, some of the stuff gets leaked out and stuff like that, and it kind of kills it a bit for us and stuff like that. But I think if it helps out the talent and it lets them recover and gets their time with their family and stuff like that, so important, especially with a lot of these boys and girls now being married and having families and kids and all that kind of thing. Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens is advertised for Survivor Series, yeah. But will we get Randy Orton, Acers? Will Randy Orton rock up? Let me know. Are they back over for taped shows? They're not back over. I think they're taping them in the States. I think they're taping them in the States from what I can gather. Acers is in. January Raw and SmackDown back to 3 hours. Yeah, I don't know. We hated this 3 hours, didn't we, for so many years? And now the 2 hours just seems like it just feels so short, doesn't it? Let me know your thoughts. We spoke about it over a number of podcasts, but I think this 2 hours, it's a real blender of a show, isn't it? Where you're trying to get so much stuff in there and stuff like that. And it's just, I don't know, and especially with this bloodline thing and all as well. You get this bloodline thing coming into it as well. And it takes up so much of the show, you know what I mean, when you're on a 2 hour thing. Pats and Wrestling 101. Thanks for joining us, my friend. Glad to see you in there. The only other fifth guy the OG Bloodline needs is the wise man. Great shout. Great shout. There was a lot of talk I seen on Twitter today about that as well. When is the wise man coming back? We shall see. Interesting. Now, I think if you're watching it at the moment, I think everything feels kind of rushed and crowbarred. You're getting a lot of triple threats. You're getting a lot of 6-man, 6 women. You're getting a lot of that stuff at the moment. You're getting an awful lot of even those 8 women ones and stuff for tags and all. Like, it's not great. It's not great, really. You know what I mean? And then, I suppose on the SmackDown show, you're going to have the women's US belt coming online as well and stuff like that as well, They're keeping Heyman until War Games. Yeah. I think he has to rock up, doesn't he? He has to rock up. That'll be interesting. I am getting excited. I'm starting to get excited for Survivor Series now, I have to say. Coming out of the back of a couple of kind of meh Raws and SmackDowns and, Crown Jewel just being what it is. And, and then the house shows were decent for all accounts. The people that were at it, they did well. But it just feels a little bit, we're in that kind of in between. We're on the island of insanity or something like that on the way to the Survivor Series or whatever it is. But big up Pats and Wrestling 101. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. NXT Deadline pay-per-view December the 7th. Yeah, absolutely. We'll take a look at that as it evolves and develops. Right. I suppose as we're talking about Survivor Series, here's the official poster. The one thing that I take out of this poster, I think the posters they do are really cool, but there is a little bit of space there at the end on both of them, isn't there? So we are expecting Bronson to come in there and Seth. But what is prevalent there is we've got 2 tribal chiefs and we've got 2 Ulafalas, and it needs to be sorted out because it can only be 1 Ulafala and it can only be 1 tribal chief. So that needs to be sorted out. So let's see how that goes. This looks weird looking at 2. But yeah, cool poster as always. Right. Let's talk about tomorrow night on Netflix. Let's talk about these 2 head bangers. How are we feeling about this one, folks? How are we feeling about, I won't call it YouTube boxing because that really does it a disservice. It's not true. How are we feeling about this matchup? We've got a 27-year-old versus a 57-year-old. Your tail of the tape is there in front of you. Everyone knows Mike Tyson's record. Everyone knows what Jake Paul has done in boxing and how invested he is in it and stuff like that. So there has to be a certain sincerity to that as well to put yourself through what these boys put themselves through. Kenny, I'm live on the plasma screen. There you go. Appreciate that. And I hope you're doing well, my friend. Solo has really stepped up on the mic lately. He has, hasn't he? Yeah. And I tell you one thing, it's great to see, this will feel weird coming from me as well. Sammy back as well, trying to get the guys to break character still, But Solo's kind of like, yeah, he's peeling back a few layers on that onion, isn't he? He's peeling back a few layers on that onion, Kenny, that's for sure. But he's had to because he has been horrific. Tyson KO Acers is going for. What are people going? What's people's predictions for this match? How do they see it going? This all points to Tyson by absolute murder. I don't know if you've been watching Tyson. You've been watching. There's 3 episodes out now on the Countdown show, and they're fantastic. And it shows Tyson and all going back to the old neighborhoods, meeting up with people. He meets up with one guy, and the guy says, "You beat me up one time, and you took my money when we were kids and all." You know what I mean? Tyson's just laughing, but it's class. But how are we feeling? How are we feeling about this? This is huge box office, isn't it? It's massive. It's garnered a lot of attention. Everyone's kind of talking about it. You know, you got Iron Mike versus the problem child, Jake Paul. You know, about a stone and a half, about stone 5 and the difference. Jake 6'1", Mike 5'10", Mike 44 knockouts, 2 no contests, 6 losses, 50 wins. Jake with 9 wins, 1 loss, of course, to Tommy Fury, 6 by KO. What are we thinking on this? England 2-0 up, an own goal from Greece, apparently. So there we go. Just check in on that. Make sure it's updated here for me so I can keep you updated. Yeah, 2-0 to England. Good stuff. Tyson is absolute machine on the heavy bag. Yeah, see him even in those. See him when he's doing the mitts in the ring, even with that guy. That guy's head is taking its life into its own hands. When he comes across with that cross one right at the end, he's missing that guy's head by millimeters. And I think even the other day, if you looked at the Countdown show, your man looked like he got a fright at one stage. He went, "Oh shit," because he came so close. Can you imagine sitting there padded up and Mike Tyson coming at you full pelt, has you on the ropes. He's hitting you with body shots, cross shots, uppercuts, everything. He's hitting you with the whole barrage of what he has. This is animal. Can this end well for Jake Paul, or is this going to be one of these kind of contrived things that you're going to get a best of 3, or what is it? You know what I mean? I think Mike's getting 20 million now, but I'm sure Jake Paul's getting a whole lot more. So the money aspect of it is good. But the question is, my only concern is, 57-year-old Mike Tyson going in there, it only takes one bad punch. You know what I mean? And that would be my fear, that would be my main fear on this fight. Kenny's in. Just can't see how a 57-year-old man can win. I know, yeah, but then when you look at him, and I mean, and you look at the condition he's in and stuff like that, I know he had the ulcer issue and stuff like that and all, but my God, he's a specimen of 57, isn't he? I mean, if you think about it, if you look at his body, right, and I was looking at it today, one of the Countdown shows, if you look at his body, if you take his neck and head off, that body hasn't changed a whole lot. It's widened out a bit over age for obvious reasons, but it's still identical. It's still that killer Mike Tyson body, isn't it? But I'm the same. I wonder how this is going to go. And, I mean, the main thing we want is that they put on a spectacle, but that both leave the ring, as they entered, if you like, in good health. Tyson will go old school on his arse. I don't think he'll go old school on his arse. I don't think that'll be the case. In 2 or 3 minute rounds, I know it's 8. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think they're going, it's 9 rounds, isn't it? Is it 9 rounds, 9 2-minute rounds? Yeah, it's 2-minute rounds, and I think it's 9 2-minute rounds. 3-0 Curtis Jones, get in. What a season Curtis is having. Big up, Zane. Thanks for joining us as well, pal. Yeah, what a season Curtis Jones is having. He's like having the baby. He's on fire. He's playing really, really well. Back in that England setup now, coming on and scoring. Quality. Life is good for Curtis Jones. Did you see LA Knight last night in the NBA? I didn't, but tell me about it. If you've seen it, tell me about it. Big up, Daz. Yeah, 3-0 England, Curtis Jones. That's what we want to hear. That's what we want to see. Quality stuff. But yeah, let us know in the chat, folks. Any other thoughts on this fight? What are you thinking on it and stuff like that? You know what I mean? It's very, very intriguing. It's on Netflix as well. And I'll tell you one thing, having Katie Taylor on the bill. I seen the press conference today. I don't know if you've seen the press conference. Jake Paul literally went around the whole press conference and bet everyone's purse that he'll beat Mike Tyson. And I think a lot of people took that bet. So there could be a lot of people tomorrow night going home without any purse if Jake wins. So let me know your thoughts on that as well. He was letting off a soap machine on center. He was letting off a soap machine on center court. Okay, very good, very good. Interesting. Yeah, but that's my thoughts on it. Do you know what? I know it's hard to see a 57-year-old beat a 27-year-old. But then I have to go with Mike. You know, I have to go with Mike. Jake's making great strides forward in boxing and stuff like that. He really looks apart. Look at who he's training with and everything and stuff like that. But I don't know. Mike's a different breed, isn't he? Mike is a different breed. And if Mike was to lose this, I know he's 57 and all, but if Mike Tyson was to lose this, it's a kick off for boxing, really, isn't it? It's a kick off for boxing. So let's see how it goes. Could be done in a contrived kind of way, maybe to get a best of 3 or something like that, but we shall see what happens. That's a remind me as well, next weekend, AEW pay-per-view, yeah, Full Gear. Yeah, we'll take a look at that as well. We'll keep it on the agenda. Let us know your predictions anyway in the chat, folks. Who are you going with, Tyson or Jake Paul? While you are in there. Now, this one was kind of interesting. Cody posted this on his Twitter. John Cena paid a visit to Cody Rhodes Training School. Very interesting, isn't it? Very interesting. Just happened to drop into Cody Rhodes Training School. Are we supposed to look into this deeper? Are we supposed to go a bit crazy? Are we supposed to let our creative juices flow on this? Or what are we thinking on it? Is this just a genuine drop into Cody Rhodes Training School? Or is it something more than that? But big up to John Cena. I always said it, one of the hardest working guys. The hardest working guy when he was around all the time. But let us know your thoughts. Should we look more into this? Could we be getting Cena Cody? Who knows? Let me know your thoughts. Just thought I'd put it out there. This Moxie storytelling is garbage. It is 100% garbage. Absolute junk. I don't know. Right. November the 12th, 6 years ago. Anyone in the chat remember what happened November the 12th, 6 years ago? I'll remind you. One Becky Lynch went into that event and left the man. And the rest, of course, is history and the elevation of it and stuff like that and all. And this was a phenomenal thing, wasn't it? It was phenomenal in a lot of ways and stuff like that. But to just see that there like that and stuff like that, and we won't like in terms of the trajectory of her career and how it took off after that and all, this whole thing, the man, the moniker and all that kind of stuff, and where it brought her to, and so many main events and WrestleManias and all this kind of stuff. It was absolutely phenomenal for her, you know what I mean? And you liken it, I suppose, you could have likened it to when Austin dropped the Austin 316, not quite at that level, but you know what I mean, in terms of the effect it had on the women's division and on Becky and all, was absolutely massive. And the man just took off. It was phenomenal. But yeah, it was 6 years ago, November the 12th, 6 years ago. So there you go. I thought I'd drop that in there just as a bit of history, you know. What else have we got for you? Have we got a bit of history? Just reading Becky's book at the moment, really good so far. Yeah, she's done it. It's done in a real cool way, Kenny, as well, isn't it? It's done in a real cool way because you kind of like when you're reading it and you can visualize her, you can see her, and you can see her saying it as well. If you're familiar with Becky and stuff like that, it's in her kind of talk and all and everything, isn't it? Which is pretty cool. We've covered Survivor Series, so we don't need to go back over it, except to say we're thinking, what are we thinking? We're thinking Rollins in here, and we're thinking Bronson on top there somewhere. But yeah, that's what we're thinking. Punk coming back, what's he going to do? Will he get involved? And obviously the women's one will be confirmed pretty soon, I would imagine, as we're on the road to it. Kate's in. Big up, Kate. Do you think Becky will come back at Royal Rumble or after Mania? Well, I suppose the first question, Kate, is will she come back? She's been really, really successful in everything that she's done. She has a family now. You know, she has the kid. She has all these things going on in her life now. Life is good at the moment, I'd imagine, for Becky Lynch. Obviously, the dirt sheets and all go crazy over the fact, oh, but what if AEW came in with a massive offer and all this kind of thing, and bada. I get it. I get it. But from knowing Becky closely and from talking to Becky, I don't think it's a money thing, and I don't think she's driven by money. I think she has all the wealth that she needs. She's been in movies, she's been on shows, she's been at the forefront of WWE Women's Division for God knows how long now at this stage. I don't think Becky is short a few quid. I think what's going to be important for Becky is, family and life and all that kind of stuff. Now, no doubt she'd be back, but maybe it might be on a different schedule. Maybe it might be like not quite the Brock Lesnar schedule or the Undertaker schedule, but maybe something, where she could balance that life and family with her career. And it works for both parties. So let's see what happens. Ronda Rousey get booed out of Staples Center in Survivor Series against Charlotte Flair. Absolutely. Yeah. Do you think Cena could be face or heel when he comes back? He's going to be face. He's going to be face all the way, I think. I don't see him. There's no way. There's no point in turning him heel now, and I don't think anyone would accept it. And to be honest with you, I think because of his schedule and how little he's there, he's just kind of dropping in on key moments and stuff like that. It's very hard. You need to be there week in, week out to sell that to the people. And I don't know. I don't know. How would you even turn him heel at this stage? You know what I mean? What are you talking? In order to get Cena over heel, you're talking Hogan Bash at the Beach 96 levels and stuff like that and all. I don't know how you'd wrap Cena up in that, to be honest. Plus he's selling truckloads of merch. So why would he turn heel anyway? But I don't see it. Definitely face. I bought that book from Jeannie Clark from Amazon. Thought through the shattered glass. Let us know what it's like. Let us know if it's good. Selfishly, I hope Becky comes back, but she's done it all, and I couldn't begrudge her riding off into the sunset. I think she'll come back, Kenny. I think at some stage, you know, the bug bites you again, and you want to be involved. You don't necessarily want to be dragging your kids around in a motorhome. Although when I say motorhome, we're talking different gravy here, you know. But still, kids need stability in their life and stuff like that, and I'm sure she's more aware of that than anyone known her as well. I think she will come back, but I think she'll cherry pick certain moments that fits into her schedule and stuff like that, and that might be the way it'll go. Seeing her doing a Hogan for final run, yeah, I would have thought so. Absolutely, but I don't say it's getting bashed at the Beach 96 swerves or anything like that. The Rock would have to be involved in this War Games match in some way. It will make no sense if he doesn't appear at Survivor Series. It will feel like a waste if he doesn't, and with showing up. Yeah, I don't know. I have a funny feeling, and I don't know how you guys feel about it. I don't know how involved The Rock is going to be in this Bloodline stuff. I just don't know. Unless this Bloodline stuff finishes before Mania and we have a straight kind of situation of what it is and where it all stands and ties. Otherwise, I don't know. And I'm going to it. Becky Lynch has balls. Tell you. Absolutely 100%. Darker side of Fruity Pebbles. You ain't getting that, Aces. You're playing for it, but you know you ain't getting it. He's selling truckloads of merchandise. I'm the same, Kenny. I think Rock's focus is on Cody. But I think Rock's focus on Cody, again, I'm thinking, is Rock going to pull the trigger on something there before Mania? Or do we get Rock Cody? Here's a thought. Do we get Rock Cody? I know everyone will think the Bloodline should finish out night 2, like what we had. This is the kind of thing we're looking at, right? But do we get Rock versus Cody on night 1? Rock wins. And then we get Rock Cena night 2. And Rock and Cena finish up WrestleMania 41. How do you feel about that? Let me know your thoughts. Is that the thinking? Would that be the thinking? Is that the way it goes? Let me know. Rock Cena would be mega. Wouldn't it be mega? You know? And as Acer says, that Hogan kind of run, You know, that WrestleMania 18 feel about it. You know what I mean? That's the kind of thing we're looking for, those moments, aren't we? I don't know. I don't know. Can we run Cody all the way to Mania? Is everyone still tied in on it? You know, still what? 6 months away, roughly. I would love that. I would love Rock beating Cody, and then you get Rock Cena night 2, and that's your main event for WrestleMania 41 night 2. In Vegas, folks. In Vegas. That's the money. That's the money in it. That's the money shot. Bloodline will finish at Mania, only place for it to finish. Agreed, Keith, but does it have to be in the main event spot? Is the sorting out of the Bloodline bigger than the finishing, bigger than Cena becoming 17 times champion at WrestleMania against The Rock? Let me know. Kenny and Niall, that would be magic, wouldn't it? Imagine. Triple threat night 2, Cody versus Roman versus Rock. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So then what are all these guys doing night 1? You know what I mean? Where does this all fill in night 1? I don't like that. I hate triple threats. Don't like triple threats. Last triple threat I liked was Mania 20. And we can't even get into that. Really, you know? There you go. I don't like them. I would rather Roman versus Rock at 41. Really? Then how do you finish? Then how do you finish your Bloodline stuff? If you want your Bloodline stuff to finish at Mania, if it culminates with Roman versus Rock, because Roman versus Rock is really, what's it going to be? Is it going to be for the Ulafala? Does the Ulafala now become bigger than the 2 world belts? Is this where we're heading with it? You know what I mean? Roman versus Rock. Don't get me wrong, Roman versus Rock will be a spectacle. But like, we're going to be counting down. It's the last year of John Cena. It has to be marked. There has to be big stuff in this. This can't be token gesture, fruity pebble stuff. This guy has had the career. He's been the guy on every single metric. He can't be just a guy that drops in, you know, just to sell that bit of merch, something new or something like that. There has to be some big meme. There has to be something big planned for John Cena for 2025. It can't be this. You know what I mean? It just can't. Seth Rollins versus CM Punk is night 1 main event. Nah, come on. You have me on. Really? I don't know. So if Seth Rollins versus CM Punk is night 1 main event, and we're talking potentially Rock versus Roman night 2 main event, how does all this Bloodline stuff get figured out? How does it get figured out? Keith, I think Roman versus The Rock to end the Bloodline storyline. Don't know. Does it not devalue the rest of the players that are involved in it? When you want to fix the like if you think about it, if we culminate with Roman versus Rock, right? Where does that leave Solo? Where does that leave Jacob Fatu? You know, where does it leave the Usos? Where does it leave? What are we going to do? Are we going to get another super kick party, the Usos versus the Tongans? That's probably going to be crap. You know, are we going to get Sammy versus Jacob Fatu? You know, what happens to Bronson Reed? They're building them strong at the moment. Where does Bronson go? You know what I mean? Like it all has to kind of mesh in and it has to fit in a certain way. Zilla Fatu on his way. Absolutely. We've been talking about it for a while. Kenny, my gut still tells me it'd be Orton taking Cody's title, leading the Cena and Orton. That's what we spoke about, Kenny, wasn't it? That would be awesome as well. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking for Cena to take the belt. He has to take the belt off someone, someone that was engrossed in that, ruthless aggression era where he was so pivotal and stuff like that. You know what I mean? The amount of times he faced Randy Orton, you know what I mean? Maybe could we get, that stuff that he did with The Rock and all that kind of stuff, I don't know, but it has to be something big, doesn't it? This can't be John Cena versus, I don't know. random roster guy kind of thing, black hoodie running guy kind of thing, Hear me out. Stone Cold said he will come back for one more match. What about Stone Cold versus John Cena, WrestleMania 41? That would be bigger than The Rock versus Roman. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where Stone Cold lies at the moment with the stories that came out and all, and wasn't there an issue there with WrestleMania 40 and the Undertaker went in and did it? So I don't know. I don't know. Could we get Stone Cold versus The Rock? Could we really roll it back? But then what's the plan for Cena? Surely Cena has to win the title at his last WrestleMania, 17 times champion. Let's not mess around with this. This is what has to happen. Big up, Jack. Good seeing you, my friend. Hope you're good. But yeah, let me know. Let me know your thoughts on it. We're going to kind of get a kind of a narrative going here on these weekly shows now, where we're trying to figure out that road to WrestleMania. How do we plot out the patches in those two cards, and how does it make sense, and how does it make sure that not only is it kind of a Rock thing or a Cena thing or a Roman thing or whatever it is, or a Punk thing, that everyone is getting lifted up by this mania and stuff like that, I'm absolutely dying, Jack. I have a flu. It came over me on Tuesday. I was in the shop and I started sneezing like a lunatic, and I went up into my sinuses and down onto my chest, and I have a bit of a flu at the moment, but I don't have COVID. I did a COVID test, so that's the main thing. So, but it's a bit of a flu at the moment, and it's basically just a pain in the arse. Byron, how are you, my friend? Thanks for joining us, Byron Cutler. Becky Lynch is returning at Survivor Series War Games as a heel. There's a shout, Byron. There's a shout. Really? Wow. Isn't it weird? Isn't it weird at the moment? Like, you think about how brilliant Rhea has been and all, and how good Liv is at times and stuff like that and all. But they've managed in the women's division and stuff like that. And we've had no Charlotte, no Becky, Sasha gone off to AEW, Mercedes Moné. You know what I mean? And they've still kept that kind of real level and stuff like that and all. But Becky coming back, do you know what would be super cool at Mania? Becky versus Rhea for the belt. That'd be a barn burner, wouldn't it? Yeah, but great show, Byron. Look forward to that. If that is the case, hopefully, fingers crossed. Ric Flair versus John Cena at WrestleMania 41 win. I guess no. Tell the ref you weren't holding the tag rope, Keith. Tell the ref you weren't holding the tag rope, that it's not a legit tag. No one wants to see Ric Flair in a wrestling ring unless he's in a suit presenting something to someone. This guy, I can't do it. I have his figure from his last match over there. I want that to be his last match and be done with it, not just because of the figure, but I can't keep on buying last match figures. And they can't do that. They just can't. If he wants to be at ringside or he wants to be involved in the match as a manager and an advisor or whatever it is, something like that, but you're not getting into the ring of trunks. I'm not buying that. That happens, I'm going to the bar. Hot tag. Boom. Sorry to hear that, Noel, bro. Hope you get well soon. Yeah, I'm dosing up on antibiotics, Lemsips. I have anti-inflammatories. I have the Patrick Vieira Vicks here on the top. I have the Jurgen Klopp water bottle out of solidarity, so David Coote doesn't get his way, and all that kind of good stuff. So let's see what happens. Daz is in. Could we get WWE versus TNA very soon? If any, who would you have from each? I don't know. What was our general feeling on the NXT 2300 ECW? It didn't press my ECW buttons at all. Sure, it didn't. But let me know your thoughts on it. Yeah. Let me know your thinking. I'm not too sure. There's some quality on both sides there, but you might get it'd be cool if you got an NXT versus TNA War Games. I tell you one thing, the women over in TNA as well. Whoa, the job they're doing at the moment. Stellar. Could there be a bloodline implosion culminating in a match between Solo and Jacob Fatu? The money really, Kenny, isn't it? I know where you're going with this, aren't you? The money is Roman versus Jacob, isn't it? The money is, I know Solo's getting better on the mic and all that kind of stuff and all, but the money is Roman versus Jacob, and you can see it, can't you? I think so anyway. And Wrestle Purist has reported that WWE is in discussion with Brock Lesnar on his return. That's interesting, Byron, because the last time I about 2 weeks ago we did a show talking about Brock Lesnar, and the talk was that neither parties were talking. But again, they keep everything nice and tight these days, which is what we want, you know. Good stuff, though. Good stuff. Glad to see you in the chat there as well, mate. Curtis Jones scored tonight on his England debut. If you didn't know, Niall, I did. Daz updated me earlier. Absolutely delighted for him. He's having a stellar season. Bovril, can't drink it. Can't drink it. I can go as far as oxtail soup. I think I had tomato soup today. I had a chicken soup today. And that's all I could really eat during the day. That's it. I had 2 custard creams as well, and it didn't feel right. Nice mug of Bovril. Yeah, no, I can't hear that. That'd probably make me sick. Would you have CM Punk versus Cody at Royal Rumble and have CM Punk winning the title, and then have John Cena versus CM Punk? That's a great shout. That's a great shout. Yeah, you're rolling back. You're rolling back a lot there. You're rolling back the pipe bomb and everything and all, aren't you? Seeing in the ring, sucking it up, you know. But I don't know. That'd be interesting. I think the only thing with Punk though as well is if you give Punk the strap and he goes in against John Cena, I think to build it really, really strong, you're going to need them there week on week, which might work with Netflix because you're going to be going back to the 3 hours. So who knows? Let's see what happens. It's not a bad show. I think they'll end up with Punk and Seth. I think Punk and Seth has that kind of deep, nasty, rooted, embedded, long storytelling that they've laid down already. So I don't think they'd abandon it. But it's not a bad show. But that's what I mean, Keith. This is what I'm talking about. This has to be big. This can't be token gesture stuff. This has to be big. I would love to see Jacob versus Braun Breaker. I don't know, Keith. I seen that face-to-face a few weeks ago and stuff like that. Braun Breaker is a monster compared to Jacob Fatu. I couldn't believe the difference in the size when they went eye to eye and stuff like that. Cool idea. But the problem is, what happens if Braun Breaker absolutely wipes him out? The mystique of Jacob Fatu, the werewolf, the animal, all that kind of stuff goes away pretty quick. Excuse me. Ryan's saying, big up, Ryan. The wolves are howling. How's it going on, mate? It's going good, Ryan. It's going good. I just have a bit of a flu at the moment. But here for it, mate. Here for it. Can't be missing the shows. World of Sport Road Warriors, give over you mad thing. You mad thing. Right, let's take a little bit of history. Now, I suppose we know the history of this week, folks. And this I have a little bit in there. I have some Saturday night's main event. I have some Survivor Series. But the big one that sticks out every November, I think, for everyone. So I'm going to put him up on the screen as I read this, as he takes his place center stage. This man we lost, one Eddie Guerrero, this week in history. How tough was that for everyone? How tough. I still miss him to this day. I miss his antics. I miss his wrestling. I miss his infectious personality and stuff like that on the screen, how he oozed through the screen, how he fought against the big man principles of wrestling and all that to reach the top of the mountain, him and Chris. But I miss Eddie at this month every year. I think about Eddie Guerrero. I go back and I watch a lot of his matches. I can't watch some of those tribute videos because they just make me upset. And even the stars talking about him, how upset Batista was and everyone was. And I had the absolute privilege of being at WrestleMania 22 when Eddie Guerrero was inducted into the Hall of Fame. And I still think about it till this day. Henry's in. Big up, Henry. What's the crack? You got some Brutus. I just done the Ireland game. I don't know. I'm dying with the flu at the moment, Henry. So I don't think I'm not in there. I didn't do the hair. I didn't do nothing. Just rough as hell at the moment. I'm feeling. So there you go. Hope you're good, my friend. You did the Ireland game. I hope it went well for you. You're probably more dedicated to the Ireland game than what I would be. That's for sure. It's more the Ireland League for me. And best of luck, of course, to Bray Wanderers on Saturday as well against Strahd. I hope they get promoted. They're my local club, 10 minutes away here in the car. Up the Bray Wanderers. Keith, get Jim Cornette back as CM Punk's manager and have Paul Heyman as Roman's manager for SummerSlam next year. Imagine the promos between Corny and Heyman. Quality. I don't think there's enough money on this planet to convince Jim Cornette to leave his house. I'm just putting that out there. I really don't think there is. I think Jim Cornette has such a life that he wants now. I don't think there is. I seen it was 1-0. Ferguson scored. Lovely goal at the back post, header down. Lovely ball in from Mikey Johnson with a lovely bit of footwork to open up the opportunity, and a lovely glided ball to the back post. And Evan being such a monster, bread and butter to him. And good to see him scoring again as well. He's been going through a lot recently, trying to get back to his form and stuff like that. He's been having a tough year and stuff like that. So to see Evan playing football again and smiling and scoring and all is absolutely fantastic. Right, let's run down through this history. So we're going to start with 1987. WWE taped the 13th edition of Saturday Night's Main Event in Seattle, Washington. King Kong Bundy defeated Hulk Hogan via countout in a WWF Championship match. There you go. Interesting. 2020, Jade Cargill made her AEW debut on an episode of Dynamite, interrupting Cody Rhodes and announcing that Shaq would be coming to the promotion. We all know how that went. 2003, Lex Luger wrestled his last match for a major promotion on an NWA TNA weekly pay-per-view event in Nashville, Tennessee. He teamed with Jeff Jarrett in a losing effort against Sting and AJ Styles. Shout out to the total package, Lex Luger. 2005, of course, one of the most beloved stars in wrestling history, Eddie Guerrero, passed away in a hotel room in Minneapolis, Minnesota at the age of 38. The cause of death was acute heart failure. Very, very sad. What a talent we lost. Imagine if Eddie Guerrero was around now. Imagine putting Dominic Mysterio with Eddie Guerrero right now. Imagine how good that would be. And of course, his memory lives on through Dom and Ray and Chavo, and it did with Chris as well until tragically that all happened. Very, very sad. 1992, the final episode of WWF Saturday Night's Main Event aired by Fox was broadcast on TV. Shawn Michaels beat the British Bulldog to win his first ever singles championship in the company. The main event of the night saw Papa Shango submit to Bret Hart's sharpshooter in a WWF Championship match. So we know Saturday Night's Main Event is coming up and stuff like that, so we wanted to put a bit in there. I'll take some of your comments before we... where are we? That's as well. Hi, Henry, buddy. Big up. Niall, I'm old. Why going back that far? My poor brain. I know, Henry. I know, because I remember it. I had asked. Byron's back in, and Brock Lesnar return is either Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, or WrestleMania. Yeah. What did he bring Brock back for? Now that you dropped it in there, Byron, chat. How are you feeling about this? If Brock Lesnar comes back, where does he go? Where does he fit in? Who does he go against? Are we going to get SummerSlam Brock versus Rock? Roll it back again. They love rolling stuff back. Let me know what your thoughts is. Brock Lesnar comes back. If he comes back at Survivor Series, what's he going to do? If he comes back at the Rumble, what's he going to do? Is he going to be part of the Rumble? And if he comes back at WrestleMania 41, what's he going to do? Are we getting Brock Rock? What are we getting? What are we getting if he comes back? Where does he go? And if they're doing that, they need to make the build of one of those shows all about Brock Lesnar. Absolutely. Listen, Brock, no matter where Brock is in the car, Brock's going to be huge anyway. We know that. Do you think Ray could have a match with Dominic? I don't know whether either would be overly interested in it, to be honest. I think they're kind of both forging their path now, and I think Dominic's kind of stepped out over the last year and a half, certainly stepped out from when that heel turn on Ray and Edge at Clash of the Castle. And he's forging his own journey, you know what I mean? And it doesn't necessarily need to be attached to the dad. You know what I mean? Let Ray over here do his thing, let Dom do his thing. It's all good. It's all good. Gunther versus Brock. Good lordy. Good lordy. Imagine Brock versus Bronson Reed. Imagine Brock versus Braun Breaker. So much stuff they could do there. But they're the kind of matches that don't need that main event. The boys will make it feel main event. Remember, at WrestleMania, they're all main events. If you're in the WrestleMania card, you're main event. Brock will come back, squash a few guys before putting Braun over eventually. Great show, Kenny. Didn't even see your comment till you said it. Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Paul Heyman, Jim Cornette, Bobby Heenan, and Jimmy Hart, Mount Rushmore, and managers. Let them know, folks. Do you agree? Do you agree with his four selections of managers? Let me know. Let me know. Depends how old you are and how far you go back. Braun Breaker versus Brock Lesnar would be great rub for Braun if he won. It would, but like this whole rub thing as well. You think about this rub thing, right? Solo beat Cena and it absolutely caved. It nosedived. So I don't know. These guys are stars. They don't necessarily need to get a rub. They need to find a niche in a certain way, and just that one liner, that one moment, that one trigger. Like what we spoke about Becky becoming the man with the blood on the face and all and stuff like that. You know what I mean? You just need to find that one moment that propels you right up there. But yeah, good show. Where are we? 1999 WWF Survivor Series was held in the Joe Louis Arena, Detroit, Michigan, and saw the pay-per-view. What else could you call an arena in Detroit? Only Joe Louis, huh? Awesome. And saw the pay-per-view debut of Olympic champion Kurt Angle. Elsewhere on the card, the Big Show defeated the team of the Big Boss Man, Prince Albert, Mideon, and Viscera in quick succession in a traditional Survivor Series match. That's some team, isn't it? Boss Man, the Big Boss Man, Prince Albert, Mideon, and Viscera. That's a lot of poundage, isn't it? That's a lot of poundage, I have to say. 2004, Survivor Series was in Cleveland, Ohio. In the main event, Team Orton, Randy Orton, Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, and Maven defeated Team Triple H, Edge, Batista, and Snitsky. How did that team come about? In a traditional Survivor Series match with Orton being the lone survivor. As a result of the win, each member of Team Orton was allowed to be general manager of Raw for a week each. Interesting. And the last one I have for you, 2015 WWE Hall of Famer Nick Bockwinkel passed away at the age of 80 this week as well. Rest in peace, Nick Bockwinkel. Take a couple of comments and then we'll go back in for the notable birthdays and then you can all go off and have your cup of tea. Mr. Fuji has to be in there. Great shout, Daz. Great shout. Slick, Mr. Fuji, some great ones. Captain Leo, Classy Freddie Blassie. Very hard when you're doing a Mount Rushmore, isn't it? And you think about it depends on when you were born and when you got into wrestling as well and what you remember and all. I had the honor of meeting Slick at a WrestleCon. He's a cool dude. I met him with the One Man Gang. One Man Gang. You guys, Akeem, One Man Gang, Clue. Yeah, and I met Demolition as well and the Powers of Pain. It was class. Absolutely class. Do you think WWE is molding Braun Breaker to take over Roman as poster boy when Roman decides to go to Hollywood or retire in the next 2 to 3 years? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think. I think Roman Reigns is so there's a uniqueness to him as well that I think it's just like you don't replace Hogan, you don't replace Savage. You know what I mean? Some of these guys you wouldn't replace Rude. You don't replace. You just let these guys come in and do their thing. It would have been cool if he had been a Steiner, wouldn't it? I would have loved to see kind of Braun Breaker and say Chad Gable in a varsity club, kind of, like the old days with the Steiners in those college jackets. That'd be a heck of a tag team. Two guys in great shape that could go at it. Big guy and a smaller guy. Like what Rick and Scott did back in the day and stuff like that would be pretty cool. But let him forge his own path. He doesn't need to plug into anything, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Who would have thought 3 years ago Cody Rhodes would be the guy? You know what I mean? When he was smashing up thrones and throwing little jabs at WWE. Maven has nice eyebrows. Each to their own. My friend. He does do a good podcast and stuff like that. He's a gas fucker, all right. Talking about what the contracts mean and what people get paid and all stuff like that. Right, let's give you these notable birthdays. We start off 1994, Leo Rush. 1982, LA Knight. Yeah. 1963. I'll say that again. 1963. Billy Gunn, 1963. The condition that man is in at the moment. Big Daddy, of course, 1930 from you, World of Sport. There you go, Eno. World of Sport, Big Daddy. 1965, L.A. Parker. 1972, Matt Bloom. And we rounded out with 1986, Kalisto. That is your notable birthdays for this week. So there you go. I'm not sure. We're back on Monday. Back on Monday with Marky. We'll be talking about. Hopefully, Marky will be on as well. We'll talk about all things football, and we'll go through the promotion playoff and all that kind of stuff. We'll pull together some absolute. We'll pull together some other good stuff as well for that show. We might have a midterm report. Look at the different teams, how they're doing, where they need to strengthen, what's gone wrong. We look at the top 6 maybe and stuff like that, and then we look down the bottom, what's going on down there. So yeah, we'll have a good look at that and stuff like that. So folks, enjoy your Friday. I hope you enjoy Tyson and Jake Paul tomorrow night, as I said, and have a good weekend. Whatever you're doing, stay safe and make sure you're back here on Monday for the Monday mashup, as always. And I'll talk to you again real soon, folks. Cheers. Don't forget, like on the way out if you haven't done it as well. Really, really important. I'll take the last few comments. I know absolutely, Jack, all about wrestling. Yeah. Where do you think Dustin will go when his contract runs out? If he's any sense, he'll know. He doesn't need me telling him. Slick Mr. Fuji, Sonny Ono, Captain Lou. Yeah, there you go. There's a shoe. Hope you get better soon, Noel. And Randy out again. Very sad. Yeah, I'd say he'll be back, though. Don't worry about that, Andrew. Yeah, I will. Hopefully, I'll be top draw for the weekend. That's for sure. And great show. Cheers. Appreciate it, folks. As always, folks, subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell notification button. I'll talk to you again real soon. Cheers, folks.